Sahajanand Swami Maharaj Ni Jai. Vachnamrut number 195 and the Vachnamruts following these, which are 196, 203, 204, 205, 211. All of these Vachnamruts coincidentally are highlighting on one big beneficial point for a seeker. It is so important to understand the importance of being surrounded or blessed with Santjans, Satpurush, Hari Bhakts. That one blessing itself, if fully realized, if fully understood, if we value, if we get the Mahatmya of having one devotee of God in our life, how many other blessings come from this one blessing is what these Vachnamruts highlight. The importance of falling in love with the Dasanudas of a Satpurush. The importance of doing man, karma, vachan, sahit seva of a Hari Bhakta, a Sant or a Satpurush. So in Vachnamrut number 195, Shriji Maharaj says that કલ્યાણને અર્થે ત્રણ અંગ સુખદાયી છે. One of the three types of ang a seeker must have: આત્મનિષ્ઠા, પતિવ્રતાપણું or દાસપણું. આત્મનિષ્ઠા means આત્મ સ્વરૂપ થઈને ભગવાનનું ભજન કરવું. If we become completely self-realized and do bhajan of God, it is very beneficial. The second ang is પતિવ્રતાપણું. પતિ ભાવે થઈને ગોપીઓની જેમ ભગવાનનું ભજન કરવું. Treat God like our spouse, like our lover, like our beloved, and fall in love with God and do bhajan. And third way is દાસપણું. હનુમાનજી જેવું દાસપણું રાખીને ભગવાનનું ભજન કરવું. Now he describes these three angs, that we have to become extremely specialized in all these three, or at least one of the three should be so dominant, without which pleasing God or attaining utmost level of highest level of liberation is difficult. In Atmanishtha he describes that one must be living in constant awareness, that on one side is De, Indriya and Antakaran, and on the other side is Atma, and in middle is this Gnan Rupi Vichar that is never letting Atma Swarup get confused with De, Indriya, Antakaran, Ahankar, any of these things. There's a constant awareness. In Vachnamrut number 196, he elaborates this, that Jivnu Janpanu, if we want to increase, then how do we increase it? And the answer again boils down to the same moral of the story. Bhagwan ne Bhagwanna je Sant, tene vishe atishay priti. If you are really going to fall in love with God and God's saints, that will increase your janpanu. Teni sevane vishe atishay shraddha. If we will have extreme faith and trust on the benefits of seva of such Satpurush. અને ભગવાનની નવધા ભક્તિ, all 9 forms of bhakti of God. If we keep doing bhakti of God, if we keep doing seva of Bhagwan and Bhagwanna Sant, and if we stay in love with them, તો સત્તા રૂપે રહેવું એના કરતાં પણ દેહ ધરીને ભગવાન ને ભગવાનના ભક્તની ભેડે રહેવું, તેને અર્થે જે સેવા બની આવે તે જ અતિશય શ્રેષ્ઠ સાધન છે. ભગવાન ને ભગવાનના ભક્તની સેવા ચાકરી બરોબર બીજો કોઈ ઉપાય નથી. If we even want to increase our awareness or Atma Swarup, Atma Gyan, he says there is only one solution. Instead of working on Atma Gyan, he says, even if you have to take another rebirth, take another rebirth. but use that human birth in doing seva and preeti with Bhagwan's bhakts. If we have or if we know any Bhagwan's extremely beloved devotee, Satpurush in our life, and if we are blessed with that, there is no higher sadhana, he says, on the spiritual path than falling in love with this kind of a devotee or doing seva of this kind of a devotee. In fact, he says, I'm ready to take a rebirth for that. If God himself says this, and that same thing is said in a very beautiful Jain bhajan, which goes like this: Made moksha ke sukh swarg na आशा उरे एवी नथी मड़ देह दुर्लभ मानवीनो भजन करवा भाव थी. I am not seeking for moksha or the happiness of Swarga. All I am seeking of is the company of a Bhakt with whom I can do bhajan of God. This human birth in which I can take or seek or chant or worship or do bhakti of God, all I am asking from you is this. When he elaborates on the second ang of Pativrata Panu and Das Panu, he says, Gopis love God how much? That એમને ભગવાનના ચરણારવિંદનો સ્પર્શ કર્યો પછી સંસાર સંબંધી સુખ ઝેર જેવું થઈ ગયું ને જો ગોપીઓને રાસ ક્રીડામાં જવા દીધી નહીં તો દેહ મૂકીને શ્રી કૃષ્ણ પાસે આવી ગઈ. A gopi loves God like nothing else, and all they did was sparsh of God's charan, and for them all other sources of pleasures became irrelevant, insignificant in comparison with the sukh that they found from just touching the feet of God. And when they were not allowed to go for a ras krida, they left their body. They gave up their life and went to Sri Krishna. This is how much we must fall in love with the giver of all gifts of life, the manufacturer of all pleasures, the giver of all joys. We must fall so much in love with him like a spouse, like a beloved. Or the third option he gave is Daspanu. He gave an example of Pruthu Raja. When Pruthu Raja was given a Vardhan and asked, whatever you want to ask from me, you can ask, God said. And what did he ask? He said, કે મને એ વર આપો કે મને તમારી કથા સાંભળવા સારું 10,000 કાન મળે. He asked for 10,000 years to listen to Katha Varta of God. This Vachnamrut that we are listening to, he asked 10,000 years to listen to such Katha. Why? Because a Das of God, એને ભગવાનના જ દર્શન ગમે, તેની જ વાર્તા સાંભળવી ગમે, તેનો જ સ્વભાવ ગમે, તેની જ પાસે રહેવું ગમે અને તેની જ આજ્ઞા માનવું ગમે. This is a sign of a Das of God. A Das of God only likes to keep looking at the Murti of God. So for that even 10,000 eyes will fall less. For listening to the discourse of God 10,000 years will fall less. He falls in love with the Swabhav of God. He wants to constantly be in the company of the saint of God. And he constantly wants to obey and abide by whatever is told to him or her by God and his Satpurush. Now in this Vachnamrut, God says, one of these three should be expertized, must be dominant in you. And Muktanand Swami asks, what if none of these three are internalized? And this is our state, right? We are neither in love with God like the Gopi, nor a Das like Pruthu Raja or Hanumanji or Uddhavji, nor are we Atmagyani like Shukji, Narad, Sankadik. We have not expertised in any of these three. Then what should we do? એ ત્રણ માહિલો જે હરિભક્ત હોય તેના દાસાનો દાસ થઈને તેની આજ્ઞામાં રહે તો તે કાંઈ ન સમજતો હોય તો પણ છત્તી દેહ પાર્ષદ થઈ રહ્યો છે ને એનું મોક્ષ તો સંત નારદ સંકાદિક જેવું થશે ને એ તો કૃતાર્થ થઈ રહ્યો છે. Muktanand Swami asked on behalf of all of us that if we want to have this sthiti, then what do we do? Do you know some Satpurush that is either Atmagyani or is fallen in love with God with Pati Bhav or with Das Bhav? Then if you know such one seeker, such one devotee, such one Hari Bhakta, not even a saint, just a Hari Bhakta, just a Satpurush, તેના દાસાનું દાસ થઈને રહો. We have to become the das of such a Satpurush. We have to become the das of the das, and then what do we have to do? એની આજ્ઞામાં રહો. We have to abide by and obey what they say. We cannot do what we feel like doing. We have to at least obey and abide by someone, even if he or she is dasanudas of one of these three types of Hari Bhakts of God. And if we do this, then God says we are counted like a parshad, like a saint, and our moksha will be like that, and not when we die, but chatti dehe, while we are alive. We are trying to search for God, and God is saying, don't search too far, search around you. If you have a saint or a Satpurush or a Hari Bhakt who is in love with me, fall in love with him or her, and you will reach me. It can't get any easier than this, and if we take this blessing for granted, it can't get any tougher than this. In Vachnamrut number 203, he says, ભગવાન માં અસાધારણ ભક્તિ થઈ આવે તો ધર્મ જ્ઞાન ને વૈરાગ્ય તે ભેળા એમનેમ જ થઈ જાય. સર એક અસાધારણ ભક્તિ આવી, મહાત્મ્ય સહિત ભક્તિ આવી ગઈ તો સર્વે સાધન આવી ગયા. પણ જેમાં અસાધારણ ભક્તિ ન હોય તેને એવી અસાધારણ ભક્તિ થયાનો શું ઉપાય છે? If only one sadhana is fully accomplished, which is asadharan bhakti, mahatmya sahit bhakti, understanding the importance of loving God, gopiyo jevi, pruthu raja jevi, asadharan bhakti, if it comes, then dharma, atmagyan, vairagya, detachment, obedience, discipline, self-realization, all those come automatically in a bhakt. But if we don't have asadharan bhakti, how to achieve asadharan bhakti? Again, it boils down to મોટા પુરુષની સેવા થકી. જો મોટા પુરુષની મન, કર્મ, વચને ભાવ સહિત સેવા કરે. કેવા મોટા પુરુષની સેવા? દીવા અને મશાલ જેવા નહીં, વીજળી અને વળવાણળ જેવા મોટા પુરુષની સેવા. What does this mean? Not those kind of devotees or seekers that who themselves વિષયના વાયુથી ઓલાઈ જાય એવા નહીં. Who themselves get distracted by sensual pleasures, who themselves get attracted to temptations of the sansar. Not seekers like that, but seekers like a વીજળી, like a lightning, જે વરસાદના પાણીએ પણ ન ઓલાય. Who don't get attracted by even the highest sensual pleasures. In fact, Vadvanar Agni Jeva, who are sitting in the ocean and not even getting drenched by the ocean. The volcano in the ocean cannot be extinguished by the ocean itself. In fact, that can evaporate that salty water and convert it into rain, and that gets showered like a mithu pani, he says. Such Satpurush who can turn a kharo jeev into a mitho jeev, who can turn a papi jeev into a Hari Bhakta. these kind of Satpurush exist around us. All we have to do is man, karma, vachane, emni seva. In 204 again he insists on the same topic. એક સાધન એવું જેમાં ભક્તિ માર્ગના અને કલ્યાણને અર્થે કહેલા સર્વ સાધન એકમાં જ આવી જાય એવું એક સાધન કયું છે. In spirituality, which is that one thing that if you do, it will give you the benefits of all other sadhanas. 32 લક્ષણે યુક્ત એવા જે સંત, તેનો જે સંગ તે મન કર્મ વચને કરીને રાખે તો સર્વ સાધન તેમાં આવી જાય. If we are only going to be in the company of a saint who has all the 32 virtues that an ideal seeker needs to have, merely being in the company of such saints, but not superficially, man karma vachane, again surrendering and falling in total love with such a Satpurush is going to give us what we want. In Vachnamrut number 205, he touches the topic of ashro. Sharnagat Bhakt kone kehvay? Who is an ideal Sharnagat Bhakt? કોઈ પણ દુઃખ થકી રક્ષા કરનારો ભગવાન વિના કોઈને ન જાણે. The faith, the trust of a Sharnagat Bhakt in God is how that whatever sorrow or difficulty I am facing in life, only and only God can immediately save me or protect me from this. જે સુખ જોઈતું હોય તે ભગવાન થકી જ છે અને ભગવાનને જ સુખદાયક જાણે. Whatever happiness one seeks, this Sharnagat Bhakt seeks from God and God alone, not externally, not from self, but from God alone. અને ભગવાનની જેમ મરજી હોય તે પ્રમાણે જ વર્તે. પ્રભુ તું રાખે એમ જ રહું. That surrender is so ultimate. God, whatever you do, I'm okay to live like that. Whatever you give, I'm happy with that. Whatever you make happen in my life, there is 100% acceptance of that. This is the definition of a Sharnagat Bhakt. And when Nityanand Swami asks that if there is a Kanishta Ashro, Kanishta Sharnagati in someone, then can that be converted to Uttam Sharnagati in this birth itself? आने आ जन्मे, 2 जन्मे, 4 जन्मे, 10 जन्मे, 100 जन्मे नहीं, आने आ जन्मे कनिष्ठ आश्रो उत्तम कई रीते थाय. And what is his answer? ભગવાનની માનસી પૂજા કરીએ તેવી ઉત્તમ ભક્તની પણ ભગવાનની પ્રસાદીએ કરીને માનસી પૂજા કરે. Like how we meditate on God, we must also meditate on this kind of bhakt who is in total love with God. ભગવાનને અર્થે થાળ કરે એ પ્રસાદીનો થાળ ઉત્તમ ભક્તને પણ ધરાવો. How we do worship of God, we must, after taking prasad from God, with that prasad do worship of Bhagwanno Uttam Bhakt also. ભગવાનને અર્થે રૂપિયા ખર્ચે તે મોટા સંતને અર્થે પણ ખર્ચે. Like how we donate or spend our wealth on God and God's temples or God's seva, like that we must also use this wealth given by God for મોટા પુરુષ, મોટા સંત and their seva. એમ ઉત્તમ લક્ષણવાળા જે સંત તેની પ્રેમે કરીને ભગવાન સરખી સેવા કરે. We must treat these Satpurush God alike. We must serve these Satpurush God alike. Then if we have Kanishta Sharnagati, then it will become Uttam Sharnagati with the Ashirvad, with the blessing of these Satpurush. In Vachnamrut number 211, he insists, સત્પુરુષને વિશે પ્રીતિ એ જ આત્મદર્શનનું સાધન છે એન્ડ ધ અલ્ટિમેટ બ્લેસિંગ પરમેશ્વરના સાક્ષાત દર્શન થયાનું સાધન પણ એ જ છે. If we are going to fall in love with the Satpurush, that is the sadhan with which we will realize our Atma we will get Atma Darshan, Atma Sukh. And that is the same sadhana through which Parmeshwarnu Sakshat Darshan Thawanu Pan Ej Sadhan che. If we have this little wish in us that someday I want to see God, Satpurush ne Vishay Priti Karshu, if we fall in love with the Satpurush, we will also someday with that sadhana get the blessing of God's Sakshat Darshan. This summarizes everything. There are various other beautiful things said in these Vachnamruts, but if the summary of all these things has to be taken and internalized, then it is that if we have such Satpurush being planted in our lives, we must value it. We must use this blessing. We must love being in their company. We must fully abide by their vachans, by their agnyas. We must fully align our mind, our man, with their mind. We must think like them, feel like them, live like them. All our karmas should be in sync with how they would like it. We must please them with our karmas. We must completely serve them through our dhan dham, through everything that we have. We must fully surrender to them. We must fully align with them. We must immerse in love with them. We must fully abide by them. This one quality if we get as a seeker, then we will achieve the highest form of enlightenment on this path. We will achieve darshan of our own Atma. We will become Uttam Sharanagati. We will have Sakshat darshan of Parmeshwar. We will become one of the three, either a das, either a pati, or either a Atma Jnani, and do bhajan of God. We will achieve whatever we want to achieve as a seeker. All we must implement, all we must internalize is truly, authentically, fully realizing the value of the presence of such Dasanudas and Hari Bhakta and Satpurush in our life. Fall in love with them, serve them, immerse in them. Sahajanand Swami Maharajani Jai.